All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. Say Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom, because it's a double Shabbat. We had a few, we have just this month alone, we have a lot of the double Shabbats. We had one a couple weeks ago with blowing up trumpets. We had one this weekend, double Shabbat, and then double Shabbat again next week. All right, so tonight we're going to break down the Feast of Tabernacles and why we celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles and why it's so important to us. Okay. Before we go into it, does anybody have anything they would like to share with the group or anything that's going on? Even their experiences with the Day of Atonement over the last week or so. This last week we humbled our spirits out with the Day of Atonement by afflicting our spirits. How was everybody's week with dealing with that? Pretty good? Humbling experience? Definitely. It's definitely a humbling experience. And then that's what the whole Feast of Tabernacles is about. It kind of keeps the humbleness of the spirit going, so you don't forget about it. So Feast of Tabernacles is what we're going to break down today. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. We're not going to go that long. It's only going to be about 45 minutes tonight. That way we can eat. And that way we can hang out and have a good time with each other. All right, go ahead and break down Feast of Tabernacles for them.
All right, we got the Feast of Tabernacles, the third of the great annual festivals of the Jews. It is also called the Feast of Ingathering. It was celebrated immediately after the harvest.
So the Feast of Tabernacles was celebrated immediately after the harvest. And you know, you guys, we were supposed to do some planting in April ourselves. We was going to start a garden ourselves and things like that. And right now, right around this time is when those things would have been ready for us. So the Feast of Tabernacles, which is also in the Bible, if you see Feast of Ingathering, it's the same thing. All right, let's go to Exodus 23 and 16 so you can see what I'm talking about. So the Feast of Tabernacles, the third of the great annual festivals of the Jews. Okay? And it was also called the Feast of Ingatherings. Go ahead and read it.
All right, we're in the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 16. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, which thou hast sown in the field, and the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field.
So the Feast of Harvest. So you remember it says the Feast of Tabernacle is celebrated immediately at the harvest. So at the Feast of Harvest, the first fruits of thy labors, all right, which was sown in the field, and the Feast of Ingatherings, which is in the end of the year. Okay? Pull out the book of Jubilees. Everybody have the book of Jubilees? If not, I have two right here. Book of Jubilees. Let's go to chapter 16. So the Feast of Tabernacles has always been around. Here you go, sister. Feast of Tabernacles has always been around. Okay? And this is what I mean. When you go talk to family members today, tomorrow, and they ask you what you're doing, and you tell them you're celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles, they're like, well, we don't have to do that anymore. Or, that was back in the day. Or, now listen, these holy days have been around since the beginning. And they were around in the middle. And now they're still around. So there's no way possible that it was only for that time. Or these everybody celebrated these holy days. Jubilees, chapter 16, verse 1. Go ahead.
All right. And on the new month of the 4th month we appeared unto Abraham, at the oak of Mamre, and we talked with him, and we announced to him that a son would be given to him by Sarah his wife.
Okay, so we just start off with verse 1 to let you know that this story we're reading is talking about Abraham and his wife Sarah. Okay, skip down to verse 19. Go ahead.
All right. Verse 19. And we went our way, and we announced to Sarah all that we had told him. And they both rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And he built there an altar to Yahweh,
Not to Ahiah.
who had delivered him, and who was making him rejoice in the land of his sojourning. And he celebrated a festival of joy in this month 7 days, near the altar which he had built at the well of the oath. And he built booths of himself and for his servants and on the festival. And he was the first to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles on the earth.
So Abraham was the first person to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, so him and Sarah celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles all the way from the beginning. This wasn't something that just started in Deuteronomy or Leviticus when we read it. See, that's the thing. When you read the Bible, you don't first hear about the Feast of Tabernacles until we go to Leviticus 23. That's the first time you'll see about the Feast of Tabernacles. But no, it was celebrated. Abraham was the first to celebrate it. And he did it out of joy, because of joy. Once the Most High came to him and Sarah and announced and told them what was going to happen, they rejoiced. All right, and it says in verse 21, and he built booths for himself and for his service on the festival. We'll talk about the booths that's been spoken of right here later on in the lesson once we get deeper into it. Let's go to Leviticus 23 and 34. So Abraham celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles, and not only did he celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles, he was the first one to do so. Okay? All the way back then, he was the first one to go in and celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. Leviticus 23, 34.
All right. The book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 34. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, the 15th day of this 7th month shall be the Feast of Tabernacles, for 7 days unto the Lord.
All right, so the Day of Atonement was what? On the 10th day of the month? Okay, so 5 days later, Day of Atonement was this past Monday evening to Tuesday evening. So 5 days later gives us where we're at today, which is the 15th day of the month. You shall be the Feast of Tabernacles for 7 days. So it's 7 days total. So from tonight, this evening, to next Saturday evening is the Feast of Tabernacles. So tonight after the lesson, we'll do a feast. Okay? And then next Saturday night, we'll do another holy convocation, which is assembly. And then we'll do another feast. All right, verse 35.
All right, we're in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 35. On the first day shall be an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
So holy convocation is what we're doing right now, a lesson. Okay, that's what the holy convocation is. Go ahead.
7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
So you do another holy convocation. So on the first day, which is today, and then on the 8th day, we do another one. Go ahead.
It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. There are the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, to offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering and a meal offering.
Meat offering?
Meat offering. Yeah, meat offering. A sacrifice and drink offering, everything upon his day. Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto the Lord.
So free will offering. Okay, so mark that because we're going to do this. All right, we're going to do this. This is a holy day that goes 7 days. So for 7 days, I'm going to ask the group, I don't care what it is, give a free will offering every day to the Most High. It can be anything. Even if you just go to the next man that you don't even know and give him a meal, that's a free will offering. It's doing something out of your free heart to the Most High. So for these next 7 days, you find a way to make a sacrifice, a free will offering to do every day. So tomorrow when you wake up, all right, day 1. Then Monday, day 2, you do something for somebody or something, or you give up something, and that'll be your free will offering. Does that make sense? All right, we're gonna start trying to do these holy days according to what the scriptures are saying, you guys, because you have to understand when you do them exactly according to what the scriptures are saying, you'll be blessed. You'll be 100% blessed. The Most High says, "Hey, you're still doing that for me in 2015." Because, like we say, Abraham, way back when, was the first person to do it, and we're still here doing this. He's smiling. Verse 38. 38.
Beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your free will offerings, which ye give unto the Lord. Mm-hmm. Also in the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath.
So this is why it's a double Sabbath. Okay? So last night, from Friday evening to this evening, was our original Sabbath. But since today is the first day of the week, it's considered a Sabbath also. And then the same thing next week. Verse 40.
All right. Verse 40, chapter 23, verse 40. And ye shall take you on the first day the bough of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month.
So there goes that forever. It shall be a statute forever in your generation. So, right when somebody try to tell you, oh, that was in the Old Testament. When you tell them, hey, I'm following the Feast of Tabernacles. Oh, well, that was in the Old Testament. We don't have to do that no more. Well, what does this forever means? Forever in your generations, that means from all times, here on out. So don't let no one trick you and tell you we don't have to be doing this stuff. Okay, just because they don't follow it, just because these preachers don't follow it, they don't understand it. Why? Because they don't have the Hebrew calendar broken down to where they can follow it on the correct day. So instead of them trying to get the knowledge of the Hebrew calendar to follow these holy days, they'll just rather do away with it. Verse 42.
All right. Ye shall dwell in the booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. When I brought them out of the land of Egypt, I am the Lord your God.
Break down booths.
Got booths. In the Hebrew, it'll be H55 and 21. H55:21, and it's Sukkah.
Can you spell it? You know, it's Sakah.
And it means to a hut or lair, cottage, covert, pavilion, tabernacle, tent.
So booths is the tabernacle, which we know means tent. Okay. So verse 42 says, ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. So the Feast of Tabernacles is 7 days. So the Most High is asking us for these 7 days to sleep in our tents. This is the time we should have went and hit the camping. Now, could we have stayed out there for 7 days?
As long as it didn't rain.
His phone's not on the books.
55:21. But this is the time where we should have did it. But we're going to get to some scriptures on for how the people that couldn't make it to the wilderness, what they did. But he's asking us right here for these 7 days to sleep in our tents, so that we may, verse 43, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel dwell in booths. So now, when you sleep in those booths for the tents for those 7 days, now it can give you a feel on how our forefathers and everybody did it. It just kind of gives you let you relive how their lives was. So now it can almost put you in their shoes. Does that make sense? So remember when we read in Jubilees, it said Abraham did what? He built booths for himself and his servants on this festival. Okay, let's go to Numbers 29 and 12. So that's the second thing. First thing, every day, 7 days, you give up some type of free will offering. I don't have to tell you what it is. You do it on your own. You and your family, y'all, whatever you say here, you want to do. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, get your tents out. It's time to get the tents out, and we're gonna get in these tents. All right, however you want to do it. And I mean, the scriptures tell you certain ways to do it. I don't know if in this day and age if we can do that, but I mean, it ain't nothing wrong with pulling that tent out and putting it in the middle of your living room. All right, Numbers 29 and 12.
All right, we're in the book of Numbers 29 and 12. And on the 15th day of the 7th month ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work, and ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days.
So you shall keep a feast unto the Most High 7 days. So third thing, we're to be feasting every night. I know it's hard because people work. We got so much going on. But we're to be feasting as a group 7 days. And I wish we could set it up to where, like how we're here tonight, tomorrow we'd be at Brother James's house. Feast, bring food, chill out. Third day we'd be at Brother KG house. Food, feast. It don't even got to be, it's not a lesson. See, the Holy Convocation, which is a lesson, is only on the first day and the 8th day. So we don't have to do lessons every night, but we are to come together and feast. Does that make sense? So if we can figure something out, you guys, even if we could just eat dinner with each other, whoever can make it, can make it. Whoever can't, but at least let's try to do it. All right, read it again.
All right, Numbers 29 and 12. And on the 15th day of the 7th month ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work, and ye shall keep a feast unto the Lord 7 days.
7 days we need to have the feast. Nehemiah 8 and 14. So like I said, I know people work, things are going on, but this week, let's do it. We find 7 houses. We have enough people to where we say, your house this day, your house this day, and we make food, we come together and we eat as a group and we have fun. Just hang out for a couple hours. Okay, it don't have to be nothing major, big. The first day and the 8th day is pretty big. So we don't have to go all out every day, but at least we can bring one dish and hang out with each other and just chill. All right, and go to the next person's house and be like, oh man, that's your tabernacle in the living room. You see somebody trying, hey, it's up and going. Let's just relax. 8 and 14, Nehemiah.
All right, we're in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 14. And they found written in the law which the Lord had commanded by Moses, that the children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month.
So we shall dwell in booths. The children of Israel should dwell in booths in the feast of the 7th month. Skip down to verse 16.
And verse 16. So the people went forth and brought them, and made themselves booths, every one upon the roof of his house, and in their courts, and in the courts of the house of God, and in the streets of the water gate, and in the streets of the gate of Ephraim.
So a lot of people, they couldn't make it to the wilderness, so they put their tent on top of their roof. Hey, I'm going to put my tent on top of my roof. Now, can we do that today? I don't know. We'll probably get away with it one night. But 7 nights, I don't know. Everybody could be some problems. There's somebody who like, hey, they sleeping on the roof. But you think you should be able to sleep on your own roof, though. You know what I mean? Break down courts. So it says, everyone upon the roof of his house and in their courts. Break down the word courts.
All right, so we got courts. It's in the Hebrew, H26 and 91. H26 and 91. A yard, also a hamlet. Yeah.
So courts is your yard. So if you can't put your tent on top of your roof, it says you can put your tent in your backyard and sleep and chill. Can we do that nowadays? I don't know, people so crazy nowadays, you know, but I don't know. If you got a secure enough backyard where you got a gate, well, hey, you know. But it says, Nehemiah 8:16, so the people went forth and brought them and made themselves booths, everyone upon the roof of his house, or either on the roof of their house or in the courts or in their yard. All right. And lighting the lamp at night for light. So when you're in your booth, you turn off all the lights and you use your lamps. And we all got lamps from our camping trips and things. You use your lamps for light. You don't cheat and use your big chandelier or nothing. No, you turn everything off and everything is through the lamps. Verse 16. Go ahead. Nehemiah 8:17, This is verse 17.
Yeah, so 17. And all the congregation of them that were come again out of the captivity made booths.
So the Feast of Tabernacles was due to us coming out of captivity. All right, and we'll go over that in a second too. Finish it.
And sat under the booths. For since the days of Jeshua the son of Nun unto the day had not the children of Israel done so. And there was very great gladness.
So there's great gladness when we're doing this holy day. And the reason is because we are now freed from captivity. So now that we're free from captivity, there is great gladness. Verse 18.
Right. Also day by day, from the first day unto the last day, he read in the book of the law of God. And they kept the feast 7 days. And on the 8th day was a solemn assembly, according unto the manner.
So now that you have your tent and you're sleeping in your tent every night, what are you to do? Read the book of the law. So people say, well, what am I supposed to do in my tent? This is what you do. So it says, verse 18, also day by day, from the first day to the last day, he read in the book of the law. So this is what you're to do. When you're in the tent and you're going to sleep at nighttime, get it in your Bible and you're to read the book of the law. This is to break down the law. All right? There's many laws, so you can't say, well, I ran out of it. No, you got many things you can read for the 7 days. The book of the law. All right? So, let's go to 2 Chronicles. 2 Chronicles 7 and 8. So you're going to do a free will offering 7 days. Then 7 days we're to keep a feast. And then we're to sleep in our booths for the 7 days. 3 things so far. And when you sleep in your booths, you used to use the lighting of the lamps. And you're to read out of the book of the law. And when you do these things, like I say, it almost takes you from modern day back to the times of our forefathers. Now you can relate to how they did it and what they were going through. And now it gives you a feeling, a different spirit on how things was. See, we're so handicapped and we're so spoiled with all technology and things nowadays to where we almost forget how hard it was for our people. And they didn't complain. They had great gladness when they was doing this. So let's do it. Let's do it and have great gladness. Don't complain, man. My back hurt from sleeping in my tent last night. Day number 3, I don't think I can do it no more. No, hey, we got to put ourselves in their shoes. Because remember, through the wrath of Ahiah, through that lesson, what was the main point of the wrath of Ahiah when we did that lesson a couple months ago? Anybody know? The main point is that in the end times, we're going to have to go through the same things that Moses and the children of Israel went through when they came out of bondage from Pharaoh. So when the Most High come and bring his wrath this time around, we're going to have to go through the same plagues. We're going to have to go through the same things. All right, so you might as well start getting your spirit accommodated to some of the things that they were going through. 2 Chronicles 7 and 8.
All right. Book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 8. Also, at the same time, Solomon kept the feast 7 days, and all Israel with him, a very great congregation, from the entering of Hamath unto the river of Egypt.
So Solomon kept the feast. Everybody kept the feast. There's not nobody that didn't keep this feast. Solomon, everybody, they all kept the holy days. Go ahead.
And in the 8th day they made a solemn assembly, for they kept the dedication of the altar 7 days, and the feast 7 days. And on the 23rd day of the 7th month, he sent the people away into their tents, glad and merry in heart for the goodness that the Lord had showed unto David, and to Solomon, and to Israel his people.
So on the 3 and 20th day, that's the 23rd day of this month, which is the 8th day. See, right now we're in the 15th day. So next week will be the 23rd day. So when it was all said and done, he sent people away into their tents, and they were all merry and glad, and goodness of the Most High was in their hearts from celebrating the holy day. All right, Ezekiel, my fault. Ezekiel 45 and 25. Ezekiel 45 and 25. We got about 15 minutes left, and we'll be done. Like I say, tonight's not a real. It's a lesson where I just give y'all the pointers on what to do. See, this is my third Feast of Tabernacles in a row, and all praises to the Most High. And the more of these we do as a group, the shorter the lessons will be. I mean, there ain't too much information I can give you next year on this. Once you know this, we're just refreshing our minds, so it'll get shorter and shorter. All right, Ezekiel 45 and 25.
All right, we're in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 45, verse 25. In the 7th month, in the 15th day of the month, shall he do the like in the feast of the 7 days, according to the sin offering, according to the burnt offering, and according to the meat offering, and according to the oil.
So these are all the different offerings that's getting dedicated on the different days. But like I say, we're going to do the free will offering, to where every day you just do something on your own. It don't matter. Even if you say, hey, I'm going to pay lunch for my co-workers today, or hey, you know what, today I'm going to do this, or however you want to do it. It don't got to be expensive. It don't got to be a lot. Hey, I'm going to go over to my grandmother's house and cut their grass for them. They're not even expecting it. I'm going to just pop up on them, bam. I'm like, oh, dang, thanks, honey. Yes, free will offering on me today. So it can be anything, guys. Okay? It can be anything. You can go to QT and pay for your gas, and then tell the cash register, here goes $15 on this next person's, whatever they want. You know, it's so many different ways you can do it. All right. Ezra 3 and 4.
What was the last verse in Ezekiel?
Ezekiel 45 and 25 was the last one. Now we're in Ezra 3 and 4. All right, so like I said, it can be anything, you guys, as long as it's something that's from the heart and no one's forcing you to do it. That's a free will. Something that you're doing, don't have nobody be like. So if it's a husband and wife situation, and now the wife got to be like, well, you know you should be doing something. You're like, I don't want to do that. And she got to make you do it. That ain't a free will offer. She just had to make you do it. So it's got to be coming from your heart. You got to be having gladness in it when you do it. Ezra 3 and 4.
Book of Ezra, chapter 3, verse 4. They kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required.
So this is a duty. This is a duty. So it says they kept also the Feast of Tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day requires. So this is a duty for you to do this free will offering every day. All right. See, we can't do the sacrifice that they did Back in the day, they was doing sacrifices of rams and bullocks and different things like that. That's what their sacrifices is. But see, now we're more high tech in modern day. We can sacrifice. See, a bull back in the day, that was money according to them. So if I sacrificed a whole bull, that was money. So today, our money is just cash in our pocket and other things that we can sacrifice outside of the bullock as a duty of everyday required. All right. So let's go over a couple of precepts on what will happen if you don't celebrate this holy day. Zechariah 14 and 16. Because like I say, family members, friends who don't know nothing about their true rich heritage, Zechariah 14 and 16. They'll try to tell you we don't have to do this. But then try to wrong you and make you feel guilty when you don't follow the holidays. The holidays are nowhere written of in these scriptures. And when you say you're not following the holidays this year, your family try to wrong you and make you feel bad for not doing so. But then when you show them something that's in the scriptures, they try to wrong you again. Zechariah 14 and 16.
In the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 16. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Year to year means every year. Go ahead.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up, and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague, wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen, that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So it says the Most High shall hit them with the plague and will smite the heathen, which is any individual. Because if you don't do the holy days, you're considered a heathen. How about that? If you're not following the Most High's holy days, you're considered a heathen. So it says anybody that do not come up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, he's going to smite them. Verse 19.
All right. This shall be the punishment of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So all nations, not just Egypt. Don't let somebody trick you and be like, well, he's talking Egypt. No, he's talking to all nations. A punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. All right, so this is huge. But that's dealing with all holy days. Hosea 12 and 9. All right, so anybody that do not keep this holy day, the Most High will send a plague upon you. But anybody that keeps this holy day and you do according to what the scriptures are saying, the Most High will bless you. I promise you. You will receive your blessings. Listen, if you just, outside of the holy days, if you just follow these scriptures as if they're put in these in the Bible, the Most High is going to bless you, period. It don't even have to be a holy day. If you just follow these scriptures with the correct heart and do according to what the Most High is saying, he's going to bless you. I promise you. Hosea 12 and 19. Go ahead.
12 and 9.
12 and 9.
12 and 9, my fault. Hosea 12 and 9.
All right. Hosea 12 and 9. And I that am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt will yet make thee to dwell in the tabernacles, as in the days of the solemn feast.
So the Most High, who brought us from the land of Egypt, will make you dwell in the tabernacle. So like I said earlier, the Feast of Tabernacles was one of the most popular festivals because it was right after the captivity. Okay? Right after our captivity, the Feast of Tabernacles happened. So that's why it was so important and so popular for Israel, because it happened right after the captivity and it gave them something to be joyful about. Let's go to Deuteronomy 16 and 12. It gave them something to be joyful about after that captivity. It gave them something to look forward to. So that's why it became one of the most popular and important festivals to the Jews, because it took their mind off of the captivity. Deuteronomy 16 and 12. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 12. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a bondman in Egypt, and thou shalt observe and do these statutes.
So remember, you was a bondman, y'all was slaves. Go ahead.
Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite, the stranger and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord shall choose. Because the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all thy works of thine hands. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice.
So, like I said, it was celebrated immediately after the harvest. It was celebrated after our captivity. All right, these are the reasons why this was celebrated. All right, and the Feast of Tabernacle was also a memorial unto the water from the rock of Horeb. All right. So those are the reasons why they celebrated this. Let's go to John 7 and 2. The rock of Horeb is in the desert mountain of Sinai. So, like I said earlier, I said it a couple times. Family members, especially if they're in the religion, will tell you, you don't got to do that. That was in the Old Testament. Why are you following that? Who told you to follow that? We don't do that no more. See what John 7 and 2 say. Read John 7 and 2.
Book of John, chapter 7, verse 2. Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand.
These are the disciples. These are the disciples along with the Messiah. And it tells them, now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. So how was it just the Old Testament? This is something that you do just in the Old Testament. Read verse 1.
John chapter 7, verse 1. After these things, Yeshua walked in Galilee, for he would not walk in Jewry, because the Jews sought to kill him. Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand.
Now the Jews' feast of tabernacles was at hand. So it's letting you know that Yasha, when he came into the land, their feast of tabernacles was at hand. They was getting ready to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. Skip down to verse 6.
John chapter 7, verse 6. Then Yeshua said unto them, my time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but me it hateth, because I testify of it, that the works thereof are evil. Go ye up unto this feast.
What feast? The Feast of Tabernacles. So Yeshua told the disciples, hey, my time has not come yet. They already know that they're about to crucify him. So Yeshua says to the disciples, hey, my time ain't came yet, so let's get ready for the feast. I know y'all worried about them getting ready to kill me, but hey, it hasn't happened yet, so let's get ready for the feast. Feast of Tabernacles. Read 8 again.
Go ye up unto this feast. I go not up yet unto the feast, for my time is not yet full come.
Okay, let's skip down to verse 37. So Yeshua and the disciples celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles. John 7 and 37. Go ahead.
Book of John chapter 7, verse 37. In the last day, that great day of the feast, Yeshua stood and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink.
So in the last day, so the 8th day of the Feast of Tabernacles, which is the last day, Yeshua says the great day of the feast, he stood up and cried, saying, if any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. So it lets you know that Yeshua celebrated this feast for 7 days. 8 days also, because in the last day, he called it the great day of the feast. All right? The last day was considered the great day of the feast. It was the biggest day of them all. 38.
All right, John 7 and 38. He that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water.
Okay. So he that believeth on me, as the scriptures have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. You shall be blessed. Okay? But we have to follow what he did. We have to do what he did. And if he followed the Feast of Tabernacles, we have to do the same thing. All right? So we'll close it out right there. So we have one free will offering for the 7 days. We have two, what we'll do a feast 7 days, and I would like to ask the group, whoever want to open up their doors, we got 7 days. Everybody can say, hey, I can do this day, or hey, I can do this day. And once we come up with the days, then I'll send out a text, a mass text to everybody and say, hey, brother so-and-so said we could do it here. Sister so-and-so said we could do it here on this day. And we get to 7 days, the 7 days out of the way, and we'll just have a good time. Like I say, it don't have to be but an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. We just hang out. Even if someone just came at 8 and say, hey, I got to get back and going. You know what I'm saying? Just show face and be a part of it. All right? We're to dwell in our tents. Everybody have tents, so nobody can say I don't have a tent, because we done all invested in tents. So pull your tents out. All right? Nobody's telling you have to stay in the tent all day long, but at nighttime, when it's shutdown time, jump in that tent, turn off the lights, and get your lamp, and get in there and read and fall asleep. All right? There's nothing to it. Nobody's telling you to stay in the tent all day and be cooped up. But you can do that at nighttime. Okay? So those 3 things we're going to do as a group. Now, I can't tell you to sleep in your tent. If you do it, then that's cool. But if you don't, then that's on you. That's how you want to do it. But according to the scriptures, let's try to do this as a overall group. That way we can have the correct spirit. All right? So with that in mind, we'll say Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Ahaya. And let's pray it out.